Hey you, yeah you who clicked on this video. Thanks for giving our channel a shot. And if you will, please do us the honor of watching the video all the way through. Appreciate it. Now onto the video.
Hello, fellow 8-bit heroes. It is with a somber heart and mixed emotions that I would like to let you guys know that Henry Cavill will no longer be playing Superman in the DCEU. This news came out recently and basically via Instagram post from Henry Cavill himself saying that, and I'll quote, "I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. For those who have been by my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember, Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed. But what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all. Onwards and upwards." So we have some really just lovely words by a consummate professional, Henry Cavill. And to be honest with you guys, I knew that this was coming, so it didn't hit me as a shock. If you watched my previous video where I discussed what was going on with the whole Wonder Woman situation, that, this was expected. So let's talk about everything surrounding this. So we've recently seen that the fans have been in an uproar about this. Various YouTube channels, a lot of people that I respect, have really just been going in on James Gunn and Peter Safran and everybody at Warner Media as far as the DCEU is concerned. We even have some people, especially on Twitter, going as far as to threaten James Gunn, which definitely should not be the way to go. I'm as big a fan as anybody, but at the end of the day, these are just movies and comic books, and nobody's life needs to be threatened over this. And they've also said that they want Snyder back, which I find just really peculiar, because the thing is that Snyder would not be gone if, you motherfuckers went to go and see the movies, okay? See, and, I'm going to get in on this when I give my thoughts, but the idea that y'all want Snyder back, which y'all want Hamada back too, do you want Jeff Johns back? Because just because a decision was made that you don't like or that you don't really understand doesn't mean that we need to take like 11 steps back. But I digress. So, what is James Gunn's strategy going forward? Well, if you're asking me, and of course I'm not in that man's head, but based on the moves that are going, I still feel the same way that I felt when I made my previous video, which is that this will be a full reboot of the DC on film universe as you know it. And there are multiple reasons for this, especially when we're considering Superman. Realistically, you have to look at what has already transpired. And I think a lot of people are having problems doing that, and mostly because a lot of the things that have happened, especially under the regime of Walter Hamada, Jeff Johns, and Sarnoff, and Zack Snyder, they have spoiled and ruined a lot of canonical storylines that James Gunn can never touch again without rebooting the franchise. Okay, there were a lot of missteps there. There were a lot of missteps when it came to the synergy of the brand. And we talked about this last video where we're talking about brand confusion when it comes to there being the television shows, in particular the CW shows. We're also talking about the video games. We're also talking about every piece of media regarding the DCEU being or basically going in its own direction, and that it didn't work. And from what James Gunn has said, that he wants synergy between all of these different media, platforms, this, you guys should have seen it coming, to be honest with you. Now, if we're looking at this, just like I say, in totality, a lot of these actors, and not necessarily Henry in particular, but a lot of these actors are, they were getting older. And I don't mean that to sound mean, but James Gunn says that he had he wanted to basically have a 10-year plan for these films and for these franchises. And none of the actors that are in the DCEU, with the exception of Ezra Miller, were younger than 35, guys. Like, 10 years, especially depending on the characters that we're talking about, you can't do it. I mean, Batfleck, I liked Ben Affleck as Batman. I mean, I didn't at first when he was first announced, but I grew to enjoy him and his portrayal. But he was already playing an older Batman, and how was that supposed to work out? Henry was one of the younger looking cast members, but Henry's over 35. They maybe could have made it work. I don't know. Zachary Levi is not a young guy. Gal Gadot, even though she is beautiful, she was expected to play a Amazonian person that, barely ages over the decades, and she's starting to age as well. Just from a look standpoint, this couldn't continue the way that it was going, especially considering that they're, the direction that they're going in now, and this is pre James Gunn, but with Blue Beetle and these younger heroes that they're really trying to prop up, this couldn't continue. So for them to start from scratch makes a lot of sense. And a lot of the baggage can be dumped. Now, a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers, like I said, a lot of people that I respect are of the opinion that a lot of these projects are going to continue going forward, like, because Aquaman, aka Jason Momoa, hasn't been dismissed yet. Ezra Miller hasn't been formally dismissed yet. Zachary Levi, Shazam, hasn't been dismissed yet. And I'm here to tell you guys, these guys are all going. You can mark it on the calendar that I said it. These guys are gone. But the thing is, the difference between them and Henry is that all of them have movies in the can. You see, they were able to dismiss Patty Jenkins, and even though they haven't announced it yet, Gal Gadot's probably gone too, guys. They were able to do that because Henry and Gal don't have any movies in the can currently. There were no projects that had started filming, therefore no money had, been wasted yet on something that Safran and Gunn were not a part of. So it made sense, honestly. I mean, it's sad and it sucks, but it made sense, especially when we consider that James Gunn has said that he wants to go with a younger Superman. He wants to start from the beginning and he wants to do it right. And I believe that he does, especially because we know that his ultimate goal is to get his revenge, and the best revenge is success. And the success that he's going to reap is going to be bringing the DCU out of obscurity and getting butts in seats and, money exchanging hands so that tickets can be sold. And that's really what you're going to get with James Gunn's vision. And I'm really confident about that. So much so that I'm still going to support him until proven otherwise. And to be honest with you, like I say, there was just too much baggage with the current DCEU. They waited too long in between films. They were not good shepherds of the incalculable profitability that they held in their hands. And so when we're really looking at this should not have been a surprise. I know I've said it before, but this should not have been a surprise. So, I mean, realistically, you really just have to look at it in terms of success. If these properties in their current incarnation with the current talent attached to them were successful, this would have never happened. But let's be honest here. The fans, lion's share of the fans didn't enjoy most of these movies. A lot of them didn't do as well as projected because the fans stayed home. And I don't fault the fans, but at the same time, if you're a fan and you're complaining about this, Did you go see these movies multiple times in the theaters? Did you go see Man of Steel multiple times in the theaters? Did you go see the Joss Whedon god-awful Justice League in the theater? Did you go and see both Wonder Woman movies? Did you go see Shazam? Did you support these things? Because they're going to be gone. And even though Aquaman topped $1 billion, it was one of the very few movies in the DCEU that was able to do so. And like I say, these characters are gone. After their movies come out, it's over with. It's a wrap. And I know a lot of people are bringing up the idea that bad reboot and, Jar Jar Abrams are going to be coming out with their Black Superman. That's not going to happen. You think it's going to happen? It's not going to happen. It hasn't started principal photography, no filming, nothing. It's not going to happen. The Joker movie, I think that James Gunn is going to try to do some finagling to get that out of the way because he doesn't want any brand confusion. Even though the deals are in place, we all know that there's always a way to back out of a deal. Same thing with the Pattinson Batman. I don't really believe for a second that Matt Reeves' The Batman is going to get very many sequels because, again, it goes back to brand confusion. And I think that that's a problem that Zaslav and Safran and Gunn really just want to iron out. Now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this. Now, personally, I think Henry Cavill was a damn near perfect Superman. But the problem is that, again, he was underutilized and now the time has passed and it's time to move on. I loved him as Geralt. I loved him as Superman. I want Henry Cavill to be the star that he was always meant to be because he is such a great example of how a Hollywood pretender should behave in the position that they're in. He doesn't think that he's better than you. He's not spewing his political views all over the place and telling you how you should think. And to me, that is how our movie stars should behave. And it saddens me that he is now no longer a part of this franchise. But that being said, as a fan of DC, as a fan of Superman, they painted these people into a corner by screwing up so many different ways. And I feel like James Gunn, even though this was a hard decision, it was the right decision. And I feel like in time, a lot of the fans will come around, especially when the products start coming out, when you start seeing trailers for these newer projects that he has coming out. So, I mean, those are my thoughts on it, guys. You let me know what you guys think about Henry Cavill no longer being Superman and the direction that the DCEU is headed in. Sound off in the comment section below. We'll see you on the next one. 8-Bit Heroes out. Peace.
If you'd like to get a shout out on the channel, then hit that like button, maybe share it with a couple of friends, and do us the biggest honor of all, and subscribe to the channel so you can join the 8-Bit Heroes family. And while you're at it, hit that bell icon so you can be notified when our new videos come out.